Design tutorials are one of my favorite things to post about. It's just not every day you see an actual video copy of how design work is done. And I've released several of those, including A+ content builds and many other things. Today I'm going to walk you through an infographic build. And my name is Stephen Pope, and I'm the founder of My Amazon Guy. So we use Asana for all of our task management. You can see that in the backdrop here. And I'm going to hit the play button. We're going to basically watch how from start to finish, I gave a task requirement to my designer. So let me go back a little bit here. So pause there for a second if I can get that to pause. So this is a graphic of a competitor. And so I'm the #1 seller of funny wine glasses on Amazon. My brand's Monster. And I use it to demonstrate things for my own clients. It's good to keep my skills sharp, if you will. So I looked at a competitor's glass and said, hey, they got a pretty good infographic. I want something similar. So this is very common with clients, right? Like they say, hey, I want something that looks like this. So I call this like a napkin wire, where I kind of crossed some stuff out and wrote in the changes I want to make. But I want kind of the same outcome at the end of the day. So our designer takes this request and looks at it and says, okay, cool, I'm going to start pulling my assets, put them into Photoshop here, and play around until we find what looks good. So here our designer is coming up with the new template, looking around at things and saying, let's put this into the shot. So in my particular case, I was going to replace one of my current 6 photos, because on a detail page, you can have 6 photos and a video. And I wanted to replace one of my weaker photos, in my opinion, with something stronger, more infographic focused. So the designer is looking at all of the things that I was interested in and is going to start creating some callouts. So they're typing in text. They're going to play with the color here, you can see. And this is obviously sped up. But it's really fun to kind of see how they put everything together and go from start to finish. So started out in blue, tested purple. Now I've got some black text. A little hard to see. I'm not sure if I can blow this up or not. Nope, doesn't let me blow it up. Sorry. And we'll just kind of watch here as they move things around. Notice how the subtle, like, piecing things together is really kind of important, actually, because if you don't have it just lined up just right, you're not so sure. So sometimes you got to zoom in on the Photoshop. We're testing a little thumbs up, switching colors back and forth. Green and thumbs up makes sense. Now we're putting a little bit of what I like to call a call to action button, right? In this case, it's more to espouse the feature, if you will. Still playing with that design to see, what would look best for that thumbs up. I'm going to pull over briefly. So this is the final version we're heading towards. And it's kind of fun to see where we are versus there's our destination. That's where we're going to head to. So we're kind of 20% of the way there, if you will. Alignment or kerning, the spacing between letters. So important to get that correct. That's the difference between a good infographic and an exceptional one. The other key important things, I think, what it takes to make a good infographic is if you have the 5-second rule, right? Like if you can look at an infographic and understand what it's trying to convey in 5 seconds, that's a good infographic. Now, sometimes you might have a lengthy infographic that takes a minute or two to read, and that's a totally different ballgame for various reasons. But still, even if you look at a text-heavy infographic in 5 seconds, you can gauge that, yeah, hey, this is a high-quality piece of glass. That's good enough. That's kind of what we're going for. I like the switch to that blue. Again, this is where we're heading. So it looks like after testing green, our designer said, I think blue is the way to go. And now she's changing all of them over to blue. And you can kind of see on the left where we're heading, where we are currently. So we haven't done any of the icons at the bottom yet. That's still coming up. A lot of people assume making infographics is a lot easier. Oh, I'm just going to open up Paint. I'm just going to plug and play some text and graphics, right? And as you can see from the way that this infographic was built and is still being built, there's so much more complexity that goes into this. Like, how many times have we seen the designer like move the same information around, space it out differently, change where they want it? And then once you add that next element in, you're like, oh, now I got to move everything around again. Now we're drawing lines to basically, suggest the emphasis, if you will. If this wasn't a glass, and if, let's say this was like a cover for a grill or something like that, maybe you might actually point to like the zipper and say, hey, this is a high quality zipper. But in this case, there's really no difference. All of it's durable, all of it's mom approved, if you will. So I'm going to speed this up a little bit. I'm going to bounce ahead. So now we're pulling in the bottom icons, and we're looking to switch up some of those options, switch up some of the colors that those might entail. I'm going to bounce ahead again. So notice how the designer goes back to the original request. And they're like, does this meet the vision? We're going to build those icons from scratch, slowly get those built in. Going to bounce ahead again here. So 15 ounce, made in the USA, microwave safe. These are all the important things that I wanted my wine glass to say, and dishwasher safe. When you buy a funny wine glass with a saying on it, you want to make sure that, hey, the saying's not going to fade, right? Like so these particular glasses, they go through, I think it's pretty, I can't remember the exact spec off the top of my head, but it's a really hot furnace to go through. Might be like 1,000 degrees or something crazy high. Maybe it's 300 degrees. Now we're adding icons to match the words, because sometimes symbols and icons can get across the point a lot quicker. I'm going to skip ahead just a tiny bit. Notice how that icon looks like a dishwasher. And instead of putting them to the left, we're now going to put them on top. And it makes that design just shine just that much more. I really like that part, to see like the subtle differences of locations. Now we're switching the text from black to blue. Wow, that pops a lot more when you have that blue text. Makes a big difference. So now we're getting to that made in USA aspect. So not only did we utilize a competitor's graphic to get the idea, but quite frankly, our graphic looks better, right? Like, notice the difference between what the competitor had, and then we added icons to the bottom, and it just looks so much better. So now we're taking a wine glass icon, putting that above the 15 ounce aspect. Let's see what she does with this. So she's kind of erasing the stem, oddly enough, because I don't sell stem wine glasses, so that would make sense. Trying to make sure the text is the same size, so there's consistency. And then making the icons consistent as well. And we're doing the same thing for the Made in the USA. Nice little American flag there. Gets the point across very, very quickly. I think Made in America is going to be more important than ever moving forward. Make sure you start manufacturing in the States if you possibly can. I think it's going to make a big difference. All right, so we got all the icons here. Really, really cool. So that is how to make an infographic. She's adding in one last layer here, making sure there's consistency on color and everything else. Oh, this was one of my favorite parts, when they zoom in on that pixels and they try and make the pixel grading really, really shine. So notice how she goes around the pixels and make sure it's all cleaned up. Then switches the colors back and forth. So yeah, if you need any infographic needs, head over to myamazonguy.com. We got infographics, $100 per graphic, high quality. For that $100, you're getting high quality. And you can see all these examples of things that we've done in the past, including our finished product on the wine glass graphic that you saw here. Again, that's myamazonguy.com, $100 a graphic. And these will be good to go on your secondary images right on Amazon. My name is Stephen Pope. I'm the founder of My Amazon Guy. It's always fun to see a designer in action. It's one of my favorite things to showcase in our video tutorial series. Hope you enjoyed it. Feel free to add any comments. Tell us about your experience with design. Maybe you thought this thing was no good. Tell us what you think. All right, talk to you later.